Should you be buying a car without understanding the system? Because here's the problem. The latest data on car buyers found that most people overpay for a car by thousands of dollars. Not because they chose the wrong car, but because they never understood how the deal actually worked. And the crazy part is, most of them never even realized it happened. And here's the part most people don't realize. Buying a car isn't about just choosing the right vehicle. It's about navigating a multi-step system that dealerships use every day. If you're like most buyers, the things you usually focus on are simple. The brand, the model, the features, maybe even color. And honestly, that makes sense. Because when you're buying a car, it feels like the car itself should be the hardest part. But the car itself is only one piece of the entire transaction. And once you understand the system behind the deal, the entire buying process starts to look very different. Now, here's the part that nobody explains. The car you pick is actually one of the easiest parts in the entire process. The complicated part is the structure behind it. Because buying a car is actually a multi-step financial process with multiple different moving parts that determines if you got a great deal or accidentally overpaid. So in this video, I want to walk you through the entire car buying blueprint from start to finish. Not every tiny detail, but the system, so you understand how the process actually works. Because once you see the full picture, everything about buying a car starts to make a lot more sense. The first step in the car buying process actually happens before you ever take step in a dealership. This is the research phase. Smart buyers usually spend time looking things up like vehicle prices, market value, incentives and rebates, financing options. You don't have to become a car buying expert. But even having basic information before you walk into the dealership gives you a much larger advantage than most buyers realize. And here's something interesting. People who spend at least an hour and a half to 2 hours doing their own research before showing up to a dealership, they end up walking into the dealership with more buying power than they think. Then comes vehicle selection, which is the part most people enjoy the most. You're choosing the model, the package, the trim level, and the features that fit your lifestyle the most. But here's something many buyers don't realize. Two cars on the same lot sitting right next to each other might look almost identical. Same body, same engine, same color, but one could cost $3,000 to $4,000 more simply because of trim level and package options. Understanding trim packages help buyers avoid paying for vehicles that have packages they never use. And this is the part where most buyers believe the hard part is over. But here's the reality. This is where deal structure begins. Once the vehicle is selected, that's where the deal structure actually begins. The first number most buyers focus on is the price. And the price usually includes things like MSRP, which is manufacturer suggested retail pricing, dealer discounts, and manufacturer incentives. Most buyers believe if they negotiate the price, they win the deal. But here's the problem. Price is the number that buyers negotiate the hardest, but sometimes it's the number that matters the least. Because a car deal isn't really controlled by one number. It's controlled by multiple numbers working together. In fact, a car deal is several negotiations happening at the same time, which means you can negotiate a great price and still end up paying more overall depending on how the whole deal is structured. And this is the part most buyers never see happening behind the scenes. Next comes the trade-in value if you have a vehicle you're trading in. Trade-in usually depends on miles, condition, vehicle history, and market demands. But here's something many buyers miss. Trade value and vehicle price are usually connected inside the deal structure, which means money can move between those two numbers. Two buyers trading in the same car could get two completely different offers depending what's inside the deal and how it's structured. But the number most buyers focus on more than anything is the monthly payment. Most people believe the payment will tell them whether it's a good deal or a bad deal. But the payment is created by a formula. It's several things working together. The loan amount, interest rate, down payment, and the loan term. Changing any one of those things can change the payment dramatically. And that's where things start to get really interesting. Because two people could walk out of the same dealership with the same car and the same monthly payment, but one of them could end up paying thousands more by the time the loan is finished. And this is the part that surprises many buyers. Modern day dealerships make much more money on the products and financing than they do the vehicle itself, which means the loan part of the entire deal structure can secretly become one of the most expensive things of the entire transaction. Before signing any paperwork, it's extremely important to take a step back and review the entire structure of the car deal. That means understanding the price of the vehicle, the trade-in amount, the total loan amount, the length of the term, interest rate, and monthly payment. Because once you finally see all those numbers together, you finally understand what you're agreeing to. And this is why buying a car can feel so confusing to so many people. Because buyers think they're negotiating one number, but in reality, they are navigating through an entire system. Once you understand that system, the entire process becomes much easier to understand. And that system is what this entire series I'm making is about. It's called the Car Buying Blueprint. Now, one thing I want to make extremely clear, not every dealership is bad. There are a lot of great dealerships out there with genuine people who really take care of their customers. But there are a lot of bad dealerships out there that will take full advantage of customers, especially if they don't understand the car buying process. And this series isn't about finding the perfect dealership. It's about understanding the system yourself. Because when you understand this system, system and you run into a great dealership, awesome, you know what you're doing and it's easy to work with. But if you ever do run into a bad dealership that tries to take advantage of you, understanding this system will help prevent you from making expensive mistakes. This video is the starting point of a huge series I'm creating called the Car Buying Blueprint. And in this series, I will break down every single part, step by step, A to Z, start to finish, first to last, so you know exactly how car deals work. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about any part of the car buying process, because it could be a future video inside this series. And for more content like this, follow Corey Creates Deals.